brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. The call is free, and some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Thanks for hanging out with us, America. Number one best-selling author, Ramsey personality, and YouTube extraordinaire star George Kamel would be my co-host today as we take your questions about your life and your money. 888-825-5225. Lisa's in Colorado Springs to start this hour. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Good. I am in a marriage. I'm a year in, and it was a high-risk marriage. We're not doing so swell right now, but I don't have, about a year and a half ago is when I first started investing in my 401k through my work. I have about only $10,000 saved up. I'm concerned, being 45 years old, that I guess I don't know where to go from here on how to make sure that I am going to be okay come that age that I am ready to retire. But I know I have a long haul ahead of me, but my husband is not super interested in a 401k. He only has about $20,000 in an older 401k. We don't have our finances combined currently right now just due to it's been a very rough year, so we didn't combine right off the bat like we intended to.
Okay.
And I'm very hesitant
let's stop
to do
a second, okay? So how y'all doing?
Sure. We're not doing well.
Okay. Are you seeing someone to help you with this?
We are. We've been in counseling for pretty much the whole year.
Mm-hmm. What is a high-risk marriage? I don't know what that is. I thought they all were.
Well, we've both
I'm at risk of dying at all times. I'm just saying.
No, we have. I have grown children. He has very young children. One with special needs, with Down syndrome, and so that going into it, we were advised that the percentages of things not working out were already pretty high, not in our favor.
Well, that's a way to put a blessing over a marriage. Yeah. You guys had no chance.
Did you guys meet with
ahead.
Is there like a marriage statistician that laid this out for you?
It was a premarital counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Right. Well, I guess he or she was just trying to warn you that these are extra stressors that some people don't have to face, but I don't know if I'm going to allow that to be a curse that's spoken over my life either.
Right,
okay.
Right. And moving into the marriage, we thought, okay, we know this is what we have to work on, but
okay,
right
so
after the marriage.
what is what's the trajectory right now? Are we going to work through this? Are we going to make it, or are you giving up hope?
Not giving up hope. I mean, we did file a couple months ago. We took it off the table. That's not what we want. It would be my second, divorce, his third. So it's definitely not something that we are, taking lightly, and we want to try everything before, that's an option.
Mm-hmm. So your question is whether to combine your stuff now in the middle of this storm.
Right.
No, I would not.
Yeah.
No, I would not.
Okay.
That adds one more stressor.
Okay.
Okay. But as a rule of, and I said in the middle of the storm, the other thing is you can't live sustainably in a storm forever. So the hurricane, the tornado, whatever metaphor we want to use on this, is going to leave at some point, and it needs to leave at some point because you're going to drive yourself nuts. You don't want to live exactly like this for 5 years. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, so something's going to give. We're either going to get better or we're going to get out. Okay, at some point. I'm not saying today, but as soon as we reach the point that we're getting better, then we need to say, all right, we're going to make the hard decision to go one more step, and that's combine everything, because we don't see the numbers tell us, the data tells us, we don't see people succeeding financially or relationally that keep all their stuff separate. It's just a roommate then, and you haven't promised that I'm never going anywhere. And so I don't really give a crap about your 401k or whether he's putting money in 401k right now. What I care about is, can you guys get knitted together in this relationship? And if you can get knitted together and now you are one and you start breathing in the same rhythm, and now we're starting to look distant into the future and we can see us together in that future, then we combine the stuff, because it'll help you on the financial front and on the relational front. But right now, it's just going to add stress because you've got all this suspicion and worry, and I don't know if we're going to make it. And, I would keep it separate. But I'd also keep it, if you want to keep it separate, it's fine. But also then keep it all on the table so everybody knows everything. You don't have any hidden accounts. He doesn't have any hidden accounts.
Yeah, and I believe he does, and that's part of the problem, too, is not knowing what exactly he brings in. We have a super high mortgage. I mean, just there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't absolve you of communicating about money. So I don't want you to conflate the two. You still have to talk about money openly. It sounds like that hasn't happened. He's still unwilling to do that. Is the nature of the issues largely financial, or is that just a piece of it?
Oh, that's just a piece. Honesty, transparency, and loyalty are our issue really at hand, but the finances, I don't want to combine, he does, so that causes just another element to this is, hey, we're not acting as a married couple because you won't join finances with me, but I have quite a bit of hesitation to do that for different reasons, and, so it's just compounding.
Well, yeah, circle back with next time the two of you are in front of your counselor together, circle back with that, because here's the deal. Honesty, transparency, loyalty are all essential to win in any relationship, certainly marriage relationship. And until you have that, you can't combine, because your hope of making it forward is very low, unless one of you just wants to assume doormat position, which is really toxic and unhealthy, codependent crap. Okay. But yeah, if you're going to go forward, you need to get those things cleared up. And by the way, I'll just be the old guy that knows nothing about therapy except having been through it, because Sharon tried to kill me. We almost, it was bad, and a long time ago. But yeah, honesty, transparency, and loyalty have nothing to do with grown children or special needs children. Those don't cause honesty, transparency, communication, and loyalty problems. They expose them. Like money, it doesn't cause those things, but it exposes the problems. And so, the high-risk marriage thing has to do with those things. And if you don't get those solved, I'll give you a high probability of, either going crazy or getting out. So, that's where, and I don't know what the time frame is, but you don't need to go on ad infinitum and forever and ever with this. It's not a plan.
Constant counseling for years.
Like 5 years later, we're still having this exact same narrative, this exact same routine. No, thank you. Life goes on. We move to the next thing. I don't want you to end your marriage. I want it to work out. But I'm with you. You keep them separate until you have honesty, transparency, communication, loyalty, whatever those key words were you dropped that are pretty serious bomb words. So, you got to get that cleared up, because that's part of what combining the stuff forces you to do, actually. But I wouldn't do it in this case until you get some
need the foundation first.
Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We appreciate you joining us. George Kamel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Phil is with us in Detroit, Michigan. Hey, Phil, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Sure. What's up?
So I started a business about 2 years ago, and it's doing quite well, and I'm just trying to decide what I should do with the wealth that I'm amassing, especially because I plan on living a fairly humble life over the next 10 years and just kind of seeing what I can do with that.
Good for you. That sounds cool. So what kind of money are you making?
This past year, second year in business, I took home about $190,000. This year, I'm projected at doing about $250,000, but it's just kind of climbing more and more, so it very well could be higher than that.
Good for you. Well done, sir. And obviously, the most money you ever made in your life.
By far. I started working 4 years ago. I graduated. I'm a physician.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah, you're rocking it. Well, good. Well, all those dreams are coming true on the financial side anyway.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So what's your question?
So I'm trying to decide what I should do with the money that I'm amassing. And I'm kind of between, I already have my loans paid off, all of that. I'm trying to decide, and I see it in three categories: paying off my home, that's not a forever home, going into retirement, and then really the biggest option that I'm trying to weigh out is buying a commercial building.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, all three are good things. The only question is the order, right?
Yes, sir.
And what would we do? We would follow the baby steps, right?
Yeah. So are you investing currently?
Yes, sir. I'm maxing on a Roth IRA as much as possible, and all the money I'm amassing is going into an individual brokerage account that I'm making about 10% on right now.
Okay. So let's say you're investing 15%. That's baby step 4.
Are you doing anything other than just your Roths?
I'm setting up a simple IRA through the business that I'll be matching out and maxing out as much as possible for myself and my wife, who also is an employee of the business.
Okay.
That's good. So we want to get you to 15% of your income going into retirement, not brokerage.
Okay.
Okay, that's step one. That's the first thing you do, because you said three things: retirement, pay off the condo, and pay off the and buy a building, right?
I don't even know if it's worth paying off the condo since it's not a forever home.
It doesn't matter, honey. There's not a forever home except heaven. You're going to move.
Yes, sir.
It's just
when you move, they're going to give you a check.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah. So how big is the condo, and when are you going to sell it?
It's a little 1,600 square foot. I have thrown around the idea of keeping it and just renting it out as a rental afterwards. But like I've heard many times in your show, that's not a truly passive income. So I don't even know if that's worth the headache of it.
Well, you told us your goal was to own commercial space, not to be a landlord.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'd want you aiming at that goal. And if that means, we're going to have a paid-for condo and the rest of the money we're going to get in a commercial space, and when we can upgrade to a home, we do that.
What do you owe in your condo?
About $160,000. I put a down payment on it starting last year.
Okay. You first and foremost, you are an above-average doctor. Most doctors suck at money, and you have avoided doc-itis, which is graduating from school, buying a house you can't afford, and 2 BMWs that you can't afford, while you have $280 million in student loan debt. That's a typical doctor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
They suck at money. And they're like stereotypes. They're like athletes and artists. I mean, it's crazy. Now, some of them don't, but I'm just saying that's the stereotype. And they don't even make the top 5 in the millionaire category, the people that become millionaires. So you're way above average because you're thinking about this. You said, I'm going to live humbly. You're living in a tiny little condo. You're awesome. In order to achieve bigger goals, you're willing to put off more delayed pleasure. Again, you delayed pleasure to get through med school to achieve a big goal. Way to go. Now you're talking about doing it in the financial realm. You're way ahead. So let me just give you star, 5 stars across the board. You are killing it. I'm proud of you. Now, having said that, you asked the question, so we're going to teach you the fastest right way to build wealth that I used, George used, and that we've taught tens of millions of people to do. We use a thing called the baby steps. We want you to have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. We want you to be putting 15% of your income into retirement. If you're not going to stay in that condo longer than 6 months, let's just go ahead and get it on the market and talk about selling it and buying a house that we want. Then the next step is going to be pay off the house. If you are going to stay in the condo, let's just pay off the condo. Then, and only then, do we start saving up for longer, bigger investments. That's after baby step 7, which baby step 7 is everything's paid off. 100% debt-free, and you're putting money into retirement at the tune of at least 15% going in. Above that, then go buy some commercial buildings for cash. They're awesome. I've got a bunch of them.
What's it going to cost?
I was looking at possibly around $1 million, and for the commercial building.
Cool. Is that you can put your practice in it, or you just want to buy one?
Yes, sir. I would be moving my business into it to then start a different business that I would be renting from, and then I would also have tenants.
Yeah, that's not a bad plan at all. But it's not necessary for your practice to grow. It's just a nice benefit. I'm sitting in the building we own 100% of, paid for, and our operation runs from this campus. And it's a large commercial building, obviously, and so that's after you get the condo paid off or wherever you're living paid off, and that's after you're 100% debt free, and that's after you have money going into retirement and have an emergency fund. That's when I do the commercial building.
So this could be years down the line. And Dave,
not really, because he's making bank.
Once you start increasing this thing, you can put 200, 300 grand away each year. I mean, it becomes a
you can start putting 15% away today into different retirements. He's got the simples, he's got the Roths. You can probably get it to 15% there today. And then you go from 250 to 350 to 450, and you keep living in a 1,600 square foot condo. You pay it off in like a year and a half. It's gone. And then you can start moving towards a commercial building, or you can move up in house, depending on which one your wife wants. I mean, depending on...
That was the honest answer.
Whoops, I just said that out loud. Happy wife, happy life.
Well, when you started, Ramsey Solutions, you didn't just go buy a commercial property at the beginning.
No, I didn't buy anything for 10 years.
So you were leasing, renting a space until you could pay cash.
Yeah.
I think you bought the building that we were in at the time.
But we were there 5 years with a lease, with an option, first. Yeah, but we weren't making the money he's making either. I mean, I wasn't making that kind of money then. But eventually we were. But I'm saying that's when we bought that building, because we got to baby step 7 and we were stacking cash.
And we moved at the speed of cash, which is still a shock to everyone that we even do that around here. And they're like, Dave's lying. I bet they... And like, no, I don't know how... You got to show them the financial records, Dave. They need proof.
Yeah. I mean, people are... Isn't it funny? So here's the thing, okay? This you'll love this one, okay? So we've got a very nice home, a wee bit expensive, and this I'm going to try to be nice.
I can tell you're trying to be kind.
This person told a friend of ours that it's impossible to own a home like that that's paid for, and I'm like, why is it impossible? You either have the money or you don't. I mean, it's possible. You can say it's unlikely. You can say you don't think Ramsey makes that much, and he's lying, so he borrowed to buy that house. But here's the thing. In every state in the United States, if you get a mortgage, do you know what they do? They record it at the courthouse. It's public record. Do you not think some of these left-wing rags that hate me would have already pulled up the public records and announced that Dave Ramsey's a complete fraud if I didn't have mortgages on everything? Because it would take anybody's ever done a title search, anybody in the real estate business, anyone who's ever bought a piece of real estate in America knows how to do it. I mean, you walk into the thing and go, hey, pull up and see if Dave Ramsey or any of these entities that I know that he has got a part of has any mortgages listed. It takes about, I don't know, with a computer, 45 or 50 seconds.
So out of all the lies, that feels like a pretty stupid
that's just the dumb one. I mean, I get the guy over at the mall that sells timeshares and says, oh, Ramsey buys a timeshare from us every so often over here. He's a liar.
My favorite one was
because you can't prove that one.
Someone said you financed like a washer dryer because there was another guy named David Ramsey.
I got an extended warranty. That was that
That's
guy.
what it was.
Yeah. It's just hilarious. These people just, we don't have any mortgages.
What a fun life you get to lead.
I know, but I'm always amazed how dumb people are. That you would say something like that, because all you got to do is go down to the stupid courthouse, and this left-wing rag we have in Nashville used to be a newspaper. Now it's a little pamphlet called The Tennessean. It would have already run a negative story about me. It's run negative stories about everything else.
They ain't got that kind of dirt.
That would be big dirt on Dave Ramsey. I mean, he has mortgages. That'd be pretty much the end of my career. This is The Ramsey Show. George Kamel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. David is in Kansas City. Hi, David. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Well, I am a divorced man. I'm 69. I have a relationship with a widow who's 68. She's in another state. We're talking, and we'd like to get together, but I'm trying to be a righteous, godly man. I don't want to just live together. I want to get married. But if I get married to her, then she will lose her pension from her deceased husband, which is quite substantial. So what I was thinking is just having a church wedding, doing everything the same except not filing for a state license. So I just wanted your thoughts on that.
What is the nature of the pension? I'm confused why she loses it if she remarries. That sounds more like alimony than a pension.
No, her husband was a police officer for the state of New Jersey, which they have very, very generous pensions, and so it's between $3,000 and $4,000 a month, and she would lose that if she remarries. And what most people do in these situations is they just live together; they don't even think about it. But I can't do that. It's a deal breaker for me. I would want to have some kind of ceremonies. I'm trying to be a righteous man. Trying to do the right thing. But and this woman has been through a lot. She's lost her mother, her sister, and her husband within a span of 3 years, and she's been insecure most of her life, and she's finally has financial security. And so, for me to come and say, "Hey, well, we're going to get married," and
what is your net worth?
I'm a chiropractor, so I make about $90,000 a year, but I get some Social Security too. My net worth is not much, $20,000 right now. I don't have anything saved. I lost everything a couple of years ago through divorce. Yep.
Okay. And how long have you been seeing this lady?
We've been talking for several months.
Okay.
Have you met her?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way you said talking, I didn't know if you were talking on the phone or
like long distance.
No, I saw her. I saw her last year. I saw her. We met and we talked. And she's an old. Years ago was a girlfriend in high school. So I know her from back then. I know all about her from back then.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a difficult one. I'm not going to argue with you there. I'm with you, though. There's no question I'm not living with someone I'm not married to. I can't do that as a person of faith, okay, as a Christian. My book tells me not to do that. So I don't do what the things the book tells me not to do because they don't prosper me and they're not good for the people in my life and people around me and so forth. So I just try to, even though it doesn't make sense sometimes, I just do what the book says. And so I'm not doing that. I'm not like a Pharisee. It's just worked good for me, you know. So I'm a follower.
Well,
of
there's
the
a lot
book.
of people that do that. They just live together.
Yeah,
and
I know, they do, and it seems like it's okay, but you and I know that there's other issues. So, so then the only question, if you go to the church wedding and you don't file with the state, is just it's no longer a theological or doctrinal or religious question. You've solved that. The only question on the table is you are intentionally lying. It's an integrity issue. Just to keep this in place, and that's also a potential deal breaker. I've got to work through that in my head if I'm in your shoes. I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm this is basically a maneuver to manipulate and not tell these people you're married. And you are married, and so that's deception. There's no any question about that, and there's good reasons for it here, but it is that.
Who gets back to who instituted marriage? Was marriage instituted by the government, or was it instituted by God?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. You and I know when you go get married, you're married, okay? And you know that the state of New Jersey did not want this pension going to her when she remarried, and you're not telling them is what you're doing. And so, that I've just got to work through that. I'm not accusing you of something bad here, but I can't get. I'm 63, so you and I could be in the same boat someday. I'm not, but I'm not today. But so I'm trying to relate and think through.
Well, I'm not trying to game the system.
The other thing is, I would investigate if there are things that you can file with the pension board for individual exceptions, like the particular nature of.
I did hire an attorney. Yeah, I did hire an attorney. I looked into it, and they said there's nothing much you can do. And it's just kind of crazy to me because the state is actually promoting, a fornication lifestyle. That's okay. It's okay.
Well, they do with a lot of things. Fine. I mean, they do with a lot of things. They do with the tax code. They do with a lot of other things. So that's not new. That doesn't change your stance or my stance. We have to do our thing regardless of what the stupid state does. There's a lot of things that are legal that aren't right. So
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If I'm doing this right in my eyes before we have the ceremony, then I mean,
I'm just talking it through with you. You're more than welcome to do whatever you want to do. I'm not saying you're a bad guy. I'm just talking it through with you. If I'm in your shoes, I've got to work through the fact that I am intentionally deceiving the state. And is that okay? And I'll give you a parallel example in my life is that I hate, so much so that just talking about it right now, my heart rate is changing. I hate the federal income tax. It is absolutely immoral, out of control, pitiful. The money that I send to the federal government makes me want to throw up every time I think about it. I hate it. It's pitiful how bad they run this country. And they keep milking me even more, taking my money at the point of a gun. I hate it. But you know what? I pay 100% to the penny that I owe. I take every legal regulation and loophole they allow me to take, and I'm a student of it, and I hire people with expensive checks that are students of it so that I can give them as little as possible with 100% of integrity. But I hate it. Did I mention that I hate it? Did I bring that up? And so, but it's not about them. It's about me. Am I doing the right thing? So if I'm in your shoes, I'm not going to accept your lawyer's answer. I'm going to get with these people. I'm going to talk to the governor. Call the governor, talk to him. I mean, talk to whoever runs the police commission in the state of New Jersey and say, look, this guy died on the job, and you're denying his widow the right to move forward with her life with this. It's ridiculous. You're asking her to shack up at 69 years old like she's some kind of 19-year-old that can't keep their pants on. This is ridiculous. And you guys need to give us an exception on this. I'm gonna bust them.
Yeah.
If I'm you, and I understand why they do it, by the way, but to keep somebody from keep the widows from being a target later with the juicy pension. But I'm not saying he's targeting her at all.
If they get married, he makes $90,000. That would effectively replace her income as long as they're married, but it still puts her at a precarious situation.
She's not going to do that. She's been through hell, and this money means a lot to her.
Yeah.
And so I understand the predicament, and I'm not unsympathetic to it. But you asked, and so I got to tell you, the way we answer questions on the show is, what would we do if we woke up in your shoes, right? I mean, put your shoes on, walk in them. I hope I'm not ever in those shoes. Those are difficult shoes. But the first thing I got to solve is for the doctrinal part, the faith issue. You've solved for that one. That one's done.
And then I'll fight the bureaucracy after that.
Yeah, that's like a couple of kids getting married in their 20s or something, and they want to have a big, fabulous wedding, but they want to go ahead and get married. They want to go ahead and live together now. So they go to the church and they get married. And then 6 or 8 months later, they have a wedding for all their friends. And that's okay, because they're married. That's financially, legally, spiritually, all in line. It's it's in that kind of same bucket for me as far as that goes. But I don't care if you register with the state, but I do care about deception in my life. I don't want to be the guy that's doing that. This is The Ramsey Show. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but it yields a harvest of righteousness. That's a Bible verse. The way we say it around here is if you live like no one else, later you can live and give like no one else. You're going to pay a price to win. Or you're going to pay a price by living in mediocre. You're either going to go through some crap and deny yourself some things in order to get to where you want to go, or you're just going to live in mediocrity. There is a price to be paid either way. A life of mediocrity or the life of a champion, because you paid a price to win the game. You did the workouts, you did the runs, you did the film study, and then you go win the game. And so the way we say that is live like no one else, pay a price, so that later you can live and give like no one else. Drive a car like no one else. All your friends making fun of you. And then when you buy a car that's worth more than they are, you can say, how do you like me now? And then you drive whatever the flip you want to drive because you've got some money. Because you didn't spend it all on a car when you was a broke person trying to look like you're not a broke person, right?
Delayed gratification.
That's
versus
it, man.
Instant gratification.
It's the hallmark of people who are emotionally mature, the ability to delay pleasure. In other words, you be a grown-up. And I'm not talking about chronologically. You can be a grown-up at 8 years old if you know how to delay pleasure. That's a hallmark of emotional maturity. Most people don't have it. That's why you stand out like in a wonderful way when you have it. People that can delay pleasure, they can stay away from the donuts. I've been working on that one. And it's hard for me, but I like donuts. And I haven't had one in a while.
You look good.
Thank you. You do too.
Camera adds 10 pounds, so don't go off of that. Just know that we're on YouTube
So
now.
do vacations, but not this one. It was hiking the whole freaking time. But anyway, so all of that to say, we live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. So about in 2020, we decided we were going to, in 2019, we launched this wonderful cruise that was going to happen in March of 2020 called the Live Like No One Else Cruise. And we're going to take folks that are on baby step 4, meaning you're out of debt, everything but the house, and you have your emergency fund in place. You've paid a price to win. If you're baby step 4 and beyond, you're investing, you're paying off your house and beyond, then you go on the Live Like No One Else Cruise. It's a mile marker, right? And so we've got the Holland America, one of their top ships, fabulous ship. We've got some of the top people from Nashville, like Stephen Curtis Chapman, multiple Grammy winner, 67 Dove Awards, is going to be with us. One of our good friends. We've got other comedians and things with us. It's going to be a blast. All the Ramsey personalities, and we're going to do events, Ramsey events on the ship all week long. And we're going to be with you, all of us, including me, including Sharon, all 7 days. And it is a fabulous. This is not the Walmart on the Seas cruise. This is the nice cruise. Okay, I don't go on those boats. All right, this is the nice one. I don't want to do it if we're going to go half butt, right? So if you're going to live like no one else, you need to live like no one else. So if you're baby step 4 and beyond, we're doing the cruise again because obviously we didn't get to do it during the Fauci pandemic. So now we've got to go and we had to start everything over. So we launched the thing for sale. We're going in March of 2025, and it's going to be a celebration of you because you've lived like no one else. So that's where you are. If you're baby step 4, you're doing that. All right, Live Like No One Else cruise. It is, at this point, it's 72% sold out. There are like 3 suites left and some really nice rooms left. And so, because there's not any dumpy rooms on this particular ship, it's almost brand new. It's a fabulous, fabulous ship. So Holland America's top flight. So anyway, this is going to be a blast. March 22 through 29, 2025.
The pit stops are amazing too.
Oh yeah,
Turks and Caicos, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas. So we're gonna have fun time just with those excursions there. Maybe we'll go snorkeling with Dave. Is that an option? Is that an upgrade package?
Yeah, swimming with Shamu. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but that's it. No, I don't have that one on there that I know of. But anyway,
No.
hey, we're gonna be hanging out with y'all all week. It's gonna be fun. You'll get bored with it, but
And what's cool is that right now, if you book it, there's a deposit. So $600 locks in your room, and then you pay the rest as we get closer to the cruise. So, if that's something you're like, well, I haven't budgeted for this. Well, if you're in baby step 4 and beyond, and you've got the wiggle room, put the deposit down and then join us.
Yeah, you got time to do it. And you better. Well, not got much time because it's selling out really, really fast.
Yeah, we're on pace to sell out by the time the summer's over.
Yeah. Oh well, or sooner. Yeah. I talked to him this morning. I think probably, what is this, June? We need to be done in June probably. But anyway, Yeah. So if you guys want to come, we would love to have you. The Live Like No One Else cruise. Be sure and check it out. Karen is in Irvine, California. Hi, Karen. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, well, thank you. I saw you at my church probably 12 years ago, and you really left an impression on me. So thank you
Well, thank you.
for that.
Are you at Mariners?
How did you know?
Well, you're in Irvine. So, I mean, I've spoken there like 3 times.
He's no
Yeah.
stranger over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great church. We love the place. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, how can I help?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I just went through a really hellacious divorce. After 5 years, it finally settled out, and kind of all the chips are falling. And even though I got what most people will call a decent settlement, because the cost of living is so ridiculous here, I couldn't afford to buy anything. So I am renting a small house, a fraction of what I used to live in, a fraction of the size, but I am paying just through the nose, and I'm paying actually more than I make
How is that
for
possible?
rent.
Are you going into debt every month?
No, she got
No,
a
I'm not
lump
right
sum.
now.
So you're able to float it right now, but it's unsustainable.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I can. So, I mean, I can tell you kind of what I have in the bank and what I have coming in.
Now, what did
but,
you get out of the divorce? How much have you got?
Okay, so we sold a house.
Mhm.
So in a bank, in a high yield savings account right now, I have about 1.3 million from that house
Mhm.
that is just sitting there, and I'm
Okay.
just trying to figure out what to do with it. But I figure, okay, we'll put that away in a corner. Really don't want to touch it.
Mhm.
And then I'm getting some alimony/spousal support, but it's only for 6 months,
Mhm.
and that's $15,000 a month.
Mhm.
And it will drop drastically. I mean, I could end up with that, getting nothing.
Mhm.
And then for my personal income, I started working after being a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, and I only bring home about a little over about $5,600 a month after tax.
Mhm. Okay.
And what's your rent?
I paid off my car. I paid off all my credit card debt from the divorce. So, I don't have a lot of debt, but I'm just trying to be smart, and it just feels like, in this area, it's an uphill battle. I'm a single mom. I'm still raising kids, so I feel like I can't really move out of this area.
How many kids have you got?
I have 3, so I have 2 still living with me. One's 17 and one is 14.
Mhm. Okay.
And I'm full-time mom.
I got you.
No shared custody or anything like that.
Right. All right. So there's no child support?
There is child support, but it may not last. Kind of dealing with an addict, and he just doesn't have a way to pay me.
Okay. All right. But he's paying you $15,000 a month right now.
Yes, so that is coming out of the proceeds that he got out of the house.
Okay.
And then, that'll be reassessed in November.
Gotcha. All right. So you have a 17-year-old and a what?
14-year-old.
Okay. I'm sorry. You've been through hell, girl. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's not a good situation.
Yeah. So
Trying to
here's
make
the
the
thing.
best out of it, but
Here's the thing, okay? You're very wise in that even in all of your pain, you're starting to see that this math doesn't add up.
right.
Okay, how much is your rent again?
$8,000 a month.
Yeah.
And no, I am not living high on the hog. I'm living very basic.
Yeah, but you're in Irvine, and you're in one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world. And so
Yeah, it almost feels illegal.
here's the thing. I'm sorry that your husband was an addict, and I'm sorry he left his children in a lurch, but they can't live in Irvine anymore. You don't have the money. And so as heartbreaking as it is, the best thing you can do for them is to create a stable environment, and you're not in one. And so if $8,000 is the cheapest you can find there, you got to go somewhere else, kiddo. I'm sorry. This is The Ramsey Show. Brent is going to start us off this hour. Hi, Brent. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it, and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. How can we help?
Well, my wife and I just kind of have a quick question here, hopefully, but I'll give you some numbers. We're 32, and we're kind of on baby step 6-ish. We live in two places because we work in two different places. One of our homes in our states is paid off, and it's worth about $380K. And then the other house that we have is worth about $950,000, and we owe about $540 on it. And then we also own a commercial building that my business operates out of. It's worth about $300,000, and we owe $170,000 on that. Our retirement account is at $260,000. So the kicker here is that we have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, and my wife makes about $220K a year, and she'd like to become a stay-at-home mom in, I don't know, about 18 months or so. So when she leaves her job, we'll probably sell one of our homes in one of those places. We haven't decided where yet. And then we'll probably go down to an income of about $40,000, maybe $45,000 a year.
What do you make now?
Yeah, like $45,000.
In a $300,000 commercial building?
Yeah, so basically I bootstrapped a business from like the ground up. And so because I'm essentially not there half of the year, it's that. I don't pay myself a whole bunch of money because I'm not there, just to make sure that I can keep employees kind of operating while I'm away.
So what are you doing when you're away?
Taking care of my kids.
So you're staying at home half the year?
Yeah.
She's in a different city.
Yeah, so we live together every time in each different city. So when she's working here in Austin, I'm here in Austin, but I'm taking care of the kids. When we go to Minnesota, that's when I work, but then she stays at home and takes care of the kids.
What does she do?
She's in academia. She's a professor.
Okay.
So that's kind of, so you know kind of what those income levels look like.
Okay, so we're going to combine households and land in one place. Which place are we going to land? Austin or Minnesota?
We don't know that yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like your value system and where you're headed, because the way you're living life now is kind of cray-cray. And so I like, the direction you're moving with this, but I think your destination needs some refinement. Meaning, I don't know why she has to go from 225 to 0. There's a lot of options in academia that she could make, work just a few hours a week and make 50 to 100K if we line this up properly. And we're not going to accept your business, which absolutely sucks, as our final destination.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You two are high capacity people. Your goal should not be, we're going to live on $45,000.
Okay.
I think you can land better than that and still get the quality of life all in one city, and her being at home largely with the kids, if not completely with the kids. And that's a good baby step in between these two. But just to suddenly take a machete to this thing you've built is not a good plan.
Okay.
So I think you need a better plan on where you're going to land, and she needs an adjusted plan on where she's going to land, and that's going to put you guys well up over 100, and you've got a sustainable situation then that's not as bizarre as you originally outlined when you came on. Because, dude, I mean, you have to admit, what you're outlining is pretty bizarre.
Oh, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
That's why we called.
Yeah.
What kind of business are you running?
So it's like a retail. It's a retail business. It does we do some training. We do some like physical fitness training, things like that, and then we have some products and random things like that. And I don't foresee that being our full-time business. It's just like right now, if we had a fallback, and because her family is there and that's where our families are,
up in
is
Minnesota.
like, okay, we could operate. Yeah, it's like we could operate there for as long as we wanted.
Well, I wouldn't land there out of
explore
convenience. What I want you to do is have some intentionality about both of your careers and your location, and go, okay, then that will tell you how you can back into this and say, over the next 18, 24 months, whatever, we can make these 6 moves, 2 of them on her career, 2 of them on your career, 2 of them on the real estate decisions, and then that will put us in this other position that is a sustainable life then, with a standard rhythm to it. But I mean, I don't blame you for wanting to change the way that you guys are living now. It's kind of wild, and it's been, it's obviously run its course. It's time for you to do something different. So, but I think the fact that this season is over has led you all to just this extreme thing of nothing. We're going from 100 miles an hour to full stop. And I think you can go from 100 miles an hour down to 50 miles an hour between the two of you, income-wise. And by the time you're located and get the efficiency of being in one location, sell off a piece of real estate, open a business, don't open a business, expand the one you've got, take a different career field. I don't care.
And part of this is getting rid of some of this debt. And so the commercial debt, the personal debt, and the mortgage, the sooner you guys are completely debt-free in your personal life and your professional life, the easier it's going to be to make these kinds of financial decisions.
Higher ed is, like a lot of things, is being impacted by the digital world and is morphing. And so she's just got other choices that she can look at now. Tutoring, all kinds of different things. I don't know exactly what she's doing in academia, but there's just a lot of options in that world right now because they don't have a lot of choices. They're going to have to provide options.